started.
Okay, good afternoon, one and all. This is a day 4 webinar series of May 2020 organized by Anna Sahib Dange College of Pharmacy, Ashta. First of all, I'd like to welcome today's resource person, Professor Asha Jadhav Madam, Assistant Professor, Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Pharmacy, Kolhapur. So first of all, I'd like to thanks all the participants, students from Anna Sahib Dange College of B Pharmacy and D Pharmacy continuously support and attending this webinar series May 2020 in this pandemic situation. You can stay at home, safe at home. I also thanks to our management, Professor R.A. Kanai sir, Executive Director, for providing such a great platform for our college. Now I'd like to request Professor Sheetal Jadhav Madam to introduce today's resource person, Professor Asha Jadhav Madam. Please, Madam.
Thank you, Desai sir. It's been my great pleasure to introduce today's eminent and energetic personality, Ms. Asha Jadhav ma'am. Sir has introduced till brief that she is working as assistant professor at Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Pharmacy, Kolhapur. She has a huge work experience of 8 years, currently pursuing PhD from Shivaji University, Kolhapur. She has completed her postgraduate from D.Y. Patil IPSR Pimpri, Pune, and currently she worked as a coordinator for various committees like IAC online courses and MSPC camp. She has published her 15 research papers in various national and international journals. Besides that, she stood 61st rank in All India National Level Pharmacy Talent Search Examination 2008, which is conducted by Cipla Private Limited. She has attended 8 conferences. Beside her academic experience, she gained high technical skills like pylorus ligation for anti-ulcer activity, cannulation of small blood vessel, isolation of different tissues, blood withdrawal from retroorbital plexus and tailvein, and most important, which is very important for anti-cancer activity, that is cell culture techniques. So such eminent personalities there with us today. So I'll request our today's speaker, Ms. Asha Jadhav ma'am, to enlighten our students on the topic receptor, a tool for action of xenobiotics. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Sheetal Jadhav Madam. First, I want to wish very good afternoon to all of you. I'm Professor Asha Jadhav from Pharmacology Department, Bharati Vidyapeeth College of Pharmacy, Kolhapur here to present a webinar on receptor, a tool for action of xenobiotics. So my screen is visible?
Yes, madam. You continue.
Yes, ma'am.
So first I want to express my First I want to express my sincere thanks to Dr. R.B. Jadhav sir and all their faculty members for inviting me as a guest person for this webinar series May 2020. This is an important platform to maintain the student interest towards our pharmacy profession during this lockdown period. So let's start the session. So I am sharing my presentation. Hope all of you see my webinar. The title of my webinar is Receptor, a tool for action of xenobiotics. So after completion of this webinar, students able to understand the basic concept regarding xenobiotics and pharmacodynamics. The second learning outcome of my presentation is to know some important terminologies in pharmacodynamics. Third one is to explain mechanism of drug receptor interaction. And the last learning outcome of my webinar is to understand different types of receptor. So first point is why I select this topic, or reason for this topic is, first we have to know about the two things for this webinar. First is the xenobiotics and second one is the receptor. The first point is the xenobiotics. Xenobiotics are nothing but the foreign material which enters in our human body to produce their biological or physiological responses. Then what is xenobiotics? Xenobiotics means all the things which are going to be enter in our body. For example, all the drugs, all the medications, all the air pollutants which are also inhaled by the respiratory route, all the fruits, all the food items which we are ingested in our daily routine lives. So all these substances are act as xenobiotics, means which are foreign material to our body. So when this material get enters in our body, they will bind to the particular proteins which are present on the cell membrane or which are present inside the cell to produce their action. So these proteins are basically called as receptors. So to clear the actions of xenobiotics, first we have to know all the detailing about these receptors. And that's why I choose this topic for this webinar series, that is receptor, a tool for action of xenobiotics. So first point, we have to know about the basics of our subject, that is pharmacology, which is the main subject of the pharmacy. And this pharmacology is mainly dealing with the two important branches, that is pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics. So pharmacokinetics means what? So when this drug enters in our body, how our body get produces response towards this drug, that is called as pharmacokinetics. Kinesis means the movement of drug. That is what the body does to the drug is called as pharmacokinetics. And the second branch of the pharmacology is pharmacodynamics, means what the drug does to the body. In short, all the actions, all the effects produced by the drug on our body is called as the pharmacodynamics. So in case of pharmacodynamics, when the drug interacts with our receptors, number of mechanisms take place in our body which are called as mechanism of actions of drug. So let's see how these mechanisms are produced. So first, this is the diagram which is showing you the interaction between the drug and the receptor. So when we ingest any drug molecule or when we ingest any medications, that drug is act as ligand, that is the foreign material. In short, it is act as a xenobiotics. So that ligand interact with the receptor and forms a drug receptor complex. And this complex is mainly responsible to produce its main physiological or biochemical activities. So pharmacokinetic means it is drug pharmacodynamics. Kinetics means it is again the response of our body towards the drug, means how the drug enters in our body and how it is excreted. In short, it is the ADME study of our medication or of our drug. So next point is the principles of drug action. Means what? When the drug interact with the receptor, it leads the formation of drug receptor complex, and this complex is responsible to produce various type of actions like stimulation, depression, irritation, replacement, and last one is the cytotoxic effect. So what is stimulation? Stimulation is nothing but when this drug receptor complex acts on the particular cell or acts on the specialized cell, it mainly potentiate or increase the normal physiology of that cell. This process or this effect of the drug is called as the stimulation. Second effect is, or second drug action is the depression. Means what? When the drug receptor complex bind to the cell and when this complex reduces or diminishes the normal response or normal activity of your cell, it is called as depression type of drug action. Next mechanism of action of drug is the irritation. Irritation is the noxious or harmful drug action which is produced by the medication or drug, and this action is mostly produced on non-specialized cells, particularly in the epithelium or in the connective tissue. So it mostly leads the decrease or inhibit the normal physiology of the cell. Next point is the replacement drug action. Replacement drug action is mostly take place or it refers to use of natural metabolites, hormones and their congeners in the state of deficiencies. For example, use of levodopa in the case of Parkinsonism. Means in case of Parkinsonism, the level of dopamine is decreased. So we want to control or we want to maintain the normal concentration of the dopamine, and for that purpose we are giving a levodopa. So this is a replacement type of drug action. And last one is the cytotoxic effect. Cytotoxic effect is a selective cytotoxic action which is mostly take place on the invading parasite or on the cancer cell without significantly affecting the host cell. Means, for example, anti-cancer drugs. Anti-cancer drugs are directly inhibiting the activity of the cancer cell without inhibiting the host cell. So this effect is nothing but the cytotoxic effect, and its common example is use of antiviral drug to clear the viral infection which is present in our body, or use of anti-cancerous drug to cure the various type of cancers or various types of tumor. So all these are the drug actions which are seen after the formation of drug receptor complex. So to produce all these type of drug actions, how our drug going to interact with our receptor? Means, what are the different mechanisms to produce such type of drug action? So when drug enters in our body, it forms the drug receptor complex, and this complex acts on different types of targets which are present in the human body. So majority of drug targets or drug targets to which our complex get interact, that targets are, first one is the receptor, second one is the ion channel, third one is the enzyme, and fourth one is the transporter. So first we have to know about the basics of all these targets. So the receptor is nothing but these are the macromolecular proteins which are present on the cell membrane or which are present inside the cell. So these receptor makes or interact with the ligand or interact with the drug to produce a particular physiological action. Second target for the drug action is the ion channel, which is also a protein, but it mostly seen in the cell membrane. And this ion channel mostly regulate the intracellular ionic composition. Certain drugs modulate opening and closing of this channel. For example, treatment of amiodarone, which blocks the myocardial delayed refractory potassium ion channels to control the vital organs of our heart. Means ion channels are also act as a drug targets, but they are basically controlling the flow of ions through the cell membrane. Next target for the drug is enzymes. So enzymes are macromolecular biological catalysts which mainly accelerate or which mainly catalyze the chemical reactions. Means what? Metabolic reactions converts substrate into the product with the help of enzymes. Means when the ligand get binds to the receptor, because of drug receptor complex formation, enzymes get activated inside the cell, and that enzyme is responsible for particular biological or physiological action. And the last target for this drug interaction are the transporters. Transporter means the channels which are also present in the cell membrane of our cell, and they mainly facilitate the diffusion of ion based upon the law of based upon the diffusion process, that is the flow of ion from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Means they are also flowing the ligands or flowing the drugs from the higher concentration to the lower concentration, means from the extracellular domain to the intracellular domains. So all these are the drug targets through which drug produces its biological action. In all these or out of these four drug targets, the important and the majority drug targets which is used by all type of drug or all type medications is the receptors. So now we will see the detailing about the first drug target, that is the receptor. So what is receptor? Drug usually do not directly interact with all these drug targets like enzymes, channel, transporter. But drug directly interact with the receptor and forms the drug receptor complex to produce their actions. That's why receptors are defined as these are the macromolecules, or these are the binding sites which are located basically on the cell surface, or they are present inside the effector cell. And these receptor or these binding sites act as a detector which recognize the signal molecule or the drug molecule to produces various or specific biological or physiological responses. Means receptors are the protein present in the cell membrane. They are act as detector. After detection of signal, they are producing a particular response. So these proteins are called as receptor. For example, muscarinic and nicotinic type of receptors which are present in our cholinergic system. So when there is release or when there is presence of muscarine at the besides of this this muscarinic receptor sense this muscarine and activate the vital functions of our cholinergic system. So this is about the introduction of the receptors. In short, receptor is the protein, or receptors are the protein which are located across the cell membrane, and their main function is to recognize and transduction of the signal through the cell to produce normal or specific biological response. Again, receptor is a cellular macromolecule or an assembling of macromolecule, mainly protein in nature, and it is present on the cell surface, that is present across the cell membrane or inside the cell, and it is concerned directly and specifically in chemical signaling between or within the cell. So receptor mainly play two important or essential function. First is the recognition, that is the identification or sensing a presence of particular ligand or particular drug beside the site of receptor. And second important function of the receptor is transduction of a signal, that is transmission of information of your drug to the receptor, whether it is agonist or whether it is antagonist. If your drug is agonist in nature, it produces or it transduces this signal to the cell, and because of action of this agonist, the normal ongoing activity of our cell gets stimulated and it produces stimulatory type of actions. So this is all because of presence of macromolecular proteins across the cell membrane or inside the cell membrane, and these cell proteins are called as receptor. So these are the functions of receptor. First diagram is showing you the first function, that is recognition, that is the sensing or identification of presence of particular signal, that is particular ligand or particular drug at in the surrounding of your receptor. And second function is transduction, that is after sensing or after identification of this signal, that ligand get binds to your receptor, it forms drug receptor complex, and then the required information of your drug transmitted or spread to all over the cell to produce a particular biological or physiological activity. Means if it is agonist, it produces stimulatory type of action. If it is antagonist, it is produces inhibitory type of action. Means the functions of receptor is, first one is the recognition and second one is the transduction. So this diagram is explaining you the basic terminologies of pharmacodynamics, that is what is agonist, what is antagonist, and what is the antagonism. So first diagram is for explaining the nature of agonistic type of drug. So when agonist get binds to the receptor, it potentiate the normal activity of our receptor, means it increase the activity of your cell, that is full activation of the cell is take place. So such type of agents which occupy all the receptors on your cell and activate the normal physiological activity or physiological process of your cell, they are called as agonist. Antagonist means what? Which are inhibiting or which are diminishing or which are decreasing the normal ongoing activity of cell by replacing the agonist or directly binding to the receptor which are present on the cell, they are called as antagonist. And next term is competitive antagonism. Competitive antagonism means what? When at a time agonist and antagonist present at the same binding site, they will compete each other for binding to the receptor. So antagonist directly replace the agonist and get binds to the cell and decrease the normal physiological activity of the cell. This is called as competitive antagonism. So first diagram is the full activation, and that full activation take place by the agent, it is called as agonist. Second is less agonist, that is the competitive antagonism, means at that site both agonist and antagonist are present, so full activation is not take place. And third diagram is no activation, means because of presence of antagonism, the normal activity of your cell is totally inhibited, totally stopped. and so there is no activation is seen with the agents which are called as antagonists. So full activation is take place with the agonist, no activation is take place with the antagonist, and less activation is take place with the both presence of both agonist antagonist. Next point is the partial agonist. Partial agonist means what? They will bind to your receptor, but partially or maximally they are producing the responses. They are called as partial agonist. And next term or next important terminology is the inverse agonist. Inverse agonist means they are bind to the receptor, they are activating your cell, but they are producing opposite type of action to your agonist. They are called as partial type of agonist. Next point is, so we had seen all about basic things about the receptor. On the basis of the totally depends for producing the actions. Uh, Receptors are totally involved in the producing the actions of your drug. Means if there is no presence of receptor, the drug action will not be produced. And to prove this, number of evidences are also present in our history. So the first evidence for the drug action via receptor is structural specificity. So drug exhibit the structural specificity towards the particular receptor. Means what? Every cell are having number of receptor, every cell are having number of receptor, number of proteins, but each receptor is having a selectivity towards a particular ligand, and because of that selectivity, particular drug get binds to that particular or specific receptor to produce their biological action or to produce their physiological action. So this is the first evidence which is explained by the scientist called as Clark, and his theory is called as occupation theory in the next slide. Second evidence for the drug action via receptor is competitive antagonism. This competitive antagonism is explained by the scientist Langley in 1917, and he explained that if there is presence of both agonist and antagonist at the site of your receptor or at the binding site, there will no activation of the cell is take place. Means what? If agonist only present at your cell, full activation is take place, and if only antagonist is take place, there is no activation. Also when agonist antagonist both are present at your receptor binding site, there is no activation is take place, and this is called as competitive antagonism. For example, competitive antagonism of ACH by the atropine. We all know the action of ACH on the intestine is ACH causes contraction of the smooth muscle of the intestine, that is in the ileum. But when you are using atropine with the ACH, that atropine blocks all the muscarinic receptor present on the ileum. So there is no contraction of smooth muscle is take place. So this is the second evidence to prove the drug action via receptor. And the third evidence is given by the Clark's, that is depends upon the law of mass action. That is the total rate of your reaction is depends upon the concentration of the reactants. Means if there is presence of higher concentration of reactant, the speed of your reaction is also high. So this principle is also applied for the drug receptor interaction by the Clark. That is when there is presence of higher concentration of drug, and when that higher concentrated drug occupy all the receptors of the cell, maximum physiological response will be produced by your drug. So these are the three important evidences of drug action which are produced via receptors. Next point is forces involved in the drug receptor interaction. So when this drug receptor interaction is take place, various types of forces are involved in the interactions, which are explained with the help of the formula which is displayed in the slide. So when drug receptor interaction is take place, that receptors is mainly between the equilibrium state of KON and KOFF, that is K on and K off. Means when there is no presence of any drug, the receptor is in the form of K off. There is no activation. But when drug get binds to the receptor, that receptor get activates, that is it phase shift to the K-on equilibrium and it produces drug receptor complex. This K-on is the rate constant for the formulation of drug receptor complex, which depends upon the concentration of drug and receptors. And K-off is the rate constant for breakdown of your complex, which depends upon the concentration of drug receptor complex as well as other forces. Means what? If drug receptor complex is take place and if it is dissociate within very short time, so no longer reactions is produced. But if that complex is prolonged or associate for longer duration, maximum and prolonged physiological actions is produced. Means your drug action is depends upon association of your drug with that receptor. Next point is all these forces of drug receptor interaction are explained with the various type of drug receptor theories. So almost I enlist the total theories for this drug receptor interaction. Almost 7 theories are there. First one is the occupation theory. Second one is the rate theory. Third one is the induced feed theory. Fourth one is the macromolecular perturbation theory. Fifth one is the activation aggregation theory. And last one is the two-state model of receptor activation. So we will see one by one theory in detail. So first, dealing with the occupation theory. So occupation theory is also given by the scientist Clark, and according to him or according to this theory, drug receptor complex is formed only when all the receptors are occupied by your drug. Means when your drug present at the surrounding of your cell, if it occupy all the receptors present on your cell, then only maximum type of pharmacological actions or maximum type of physiological response is produced with your drug. If only partial receptors are occupied, so there is no response produced in your cell. The intensity of pharmacological effect is directly proportional to the number of receptors occupied. Means the magnitude of your response or the intensity of your response produced by your drug is totally depends upon the number of receptors occupied by your drug. Means if your drug is occupying all the receptors present on the cell, then only it produces maximum type of responses. This is about the occupation theory, that is the occupation of receptors by your drug. Next theory is the rate theory. So rate theory is not related to the occupation theory. It directly relates to the rate of association of your drug to the receptor molecule, receptor protein. So the response is proportional to the rate of drug receptor complex formation. Means according to this theory, the rate or the speed at which the association of your drug with the receptor is take place, that rate or that speed is directly proportional to your response. If the association is take place fastly and for longer duration, then maximum type of responses are produced with your drug. Activation of receptor is proportional to the total number of encounters of drug with the receptors. According to this theory or according to this view, the duration of receptor occupation determines whether a molecule is agonist or partial agonist. Means what? In occupation theory, we are determining the rate of your nature of your drug. That is whether the drug is agonist or partial agonist. Means if it is agonist, it will occupy all the receptors. If it is partial agonist, it will occupy just a small number of receptors. And if it is antagonist, it will not occupy the receptor and it will not produces the response. But in case of rate theory, your response is totally depends upon the rate of association of your drug to the complex. If association take place speedily, then it will produces the maximum type of reaction. Next point is the induced feed theory. So induced feed theory is proposed by the Daniel Cashland in the 1958, and he states that the binding of substrate induces a conformational changes in the active site of receptor. Means what? When the drug binds to the receptor, that drug initiate or produces conformational changes in the receptors, and on the basis of that conformational changes, physiological effects is produced in your cell. These conformational changes explained by the lock and key model. Means what we know the lock and key model. Means when drug interact with the receptor, it forms a lock and key plastic type of model. So if your drug is agonist, it will opens the lock and produces normal physiological activity. And if it is antagonist, the lock will not open and there is no any response within your cell. Means there is no activation of the cell, so there is no physiological response. Next is the perturbation theory. So this theory is nothing but the combination of both the rate theory as well as the induced fit theory. According to this theory, two types of conformational changes exist in the receptor after its interaction with the drug, and the rate of their existence determines the biological response. Means for what time of period that conformational changes present in your cell, that rate determines the activity or the physiological actions of your receptor. So mostly two conformational changes are, first one is the specific perturbation conformational changes, and second change is specific non-specific perturbation changes. So when your drug is agonistic in nature or when your drug is agonist, it produces specific perturbation conformational changes and it is producing biological responses. But when your drug is antagonist, it is producing non-specific perturbation changes in the cell, so there is no activation. Means perturbation theory suggests that the drug is the receptor is present in two forms or two conformational form. First conformational form is specific perturbation form, and second one is the non-specific perturbation form. So these forms are present in the receptor. So when your drug interacts with the receptor, if the activation of the specific perturbation is take place, the maximum response is produced. And if the conformation is non-specific perturbation, so there is no activation, means there is inhibitory type of actions produced by your antagonist or by your drug. Next one is the activation aggregation theory. So according to the activation aggregation theory, the receptor is always in equilibrium state of activated form and inactivated form. So R0 is your biological response and T0 is no biological response. Means when there is no drug at your receptors is at the equilibrium state between the active form and inactive form. So when your drug binds to the receptor, and if your receptor or if the equilibrium shifts to the activated form, it produces maximum biological responses. That is, it is indicated by the RO, that is biological response. And if your drug is antagonist, it shifts the receptor equilibrium to the inactivated form, that is to the T0. So there is no biological response. So this is about the activation aggregation theory. Means receptor is at equilibrium between the active form and non-active form. Once your drug binds, based upon the nature of your drug, equilibrium gets shifts to the active form or inactive form. And based on that shifting, the response or biological action is produced on the cell. Next theory is two-state or multi-state receptor model. So in this theory is also like your activation aggregation theory. That is, the receptor is in the two state. First one is the resting state and second one is the active state. Resting state is directly indicated by the R. That is, in the diagram I had shown you the equation D plus R, a resting state, there is no response, and D plus R star, that is the activation. So there is a full activation. So when full agonist bind only to the when your drug is agonistic in nature, it directly binds to the active receptor form, that is to the which is indicated by the R star. And if your drug is partial agonist, it partially or preferentially binds to the R star. If your drug is full inverse agonist, it will bind only to the R and it will not produces any action. And if your drug is totally agonistic in nature or it is antagonist, it will directly binds to the R, that is resting receptor. So that resting receptor does not produce any type of action. Means again here your receptor is at equilibrium between the two states. First state is the resting state, which is indicated by R, and second state is the active state, which is indicated by the R star. So once your drug get binds, that equilibrium shift to either resting state or either to the active state. If the shifting to take place to the resting state, there is no action, and if the shifting is take place to the R star, that is to the active site, it produces maximum type of biological or physiological effects on the cell. So this is about all about the theories of drug receptor interaction. Now, next point is what is signal transduction. So signal transduction means what? After drug receptor complex formation, this complex alters, leads the alteration in the biochemical or molecular activities of a cell. And these alterations in normal physiology of our cell because of drug receptor complex, it is called as signal transduction mechanism. In this signal transduction process, our drug is act as signal, and presence of this signal is detected by the receptor. So receptor are called as signal detectors. So once the signal is detected by your receptor, drug receptor complex get formed, and this complex leads or initiate a series of reactions through, and that series of reactions ultimately result in a specific intracellular response. And all these process from identification to association of your drug to the receptor to produce biological action is called as signal transduction mechanism. The next point is types of receptors. So based upon the presence of receptors at the extracellular site or at the intracellular site of our cell, the receptors are mainly classified into 4 families like A, B, C, D. So A family is nothing but the ligand-gated ion channel receptors, which are present across the cell membrane, and these ion channels mainly regulate the ionic balance of our cell by controlling the flow of ion through this channel. So first diagram, that is A, is indicating you the ligand-gated channels. Its example is cholinergic nicotinic receptor, and its diagram is below, that is presence of channel, presence of particular ion flow center. Through this center, ions get flow inside the cell to produce a particular physiological actions. Means ion channel mostly regulate the ionic balance of our cell. Second type of receptor is G protein coupled receptor. So G protein coupled receptor also present across the cell membrane, but these receptor are particularly bind to the specific G proteins. So these G proteins are nothing but the complex of 3 subunits alpha, beta, gamma, which we will see in the details. So the examples of the G protein coupled receptors are GABA receptors, which are present in our body, adrenergic receptor, beta adrenoreceptors, that is the beta adrenergic receptor, alpha adrenergic receptors. Next type is the enzyme linked receptor. Enzyme linked receptor are also present across the cell membrane. But in this enzyme linked receptor, what happens when your drug or when your ligand get binds to the receptor, it mostly leads the activation of enzyme at intracellular site of our cell, and this enzyme is mostly responsible for production of particular physiological response of our drug, and that's why they are called as enzyme linked receptor. Means the activity of drug, it depends upon the release of enzymes from the receptor. And the last type of the receptor is intracellular receptor. Its name is indicating that these receptors are present inside the cell, that is in the intracellular domain. The best example of this intracellular receptor is the steroid receptor or the hormonal receptor. Means what? When your ligand get binds at the extracellular site, this ligand, which is mostly lipophilic in nature, that is your hormone, it crosses the cell and enters in the cell nucleus, and at the site of nucleus, it alters the genetic information, or it mainly alters the transcription to produces cellular responses. So this is about the overall about the cell responses. Receptor types. First one is the ligand gated receptor, second one is the G protein coupled receptor, third one is the enzyme linked receptor, and last one is the intracellular receptors, which are also called as nuclear receptor. So first about ion channels. So ion channels, the diagram is showing you ion channels are the present across the cell membrane. These are the particular type of pore present in our cell membrane, and these ion channels mostly regulate our cellular excitability. They are mostly present on all type of cells which are present in our body, and based upon the type of stimulus to which they get response, these ion channels are classified into two subtypes. First one is the voltage gated ion channel, and second one is the ligand gated ion channel. In the diagram, the first diagram is showing the view of the ion channel receptor. So the first point is the top view, means if you are observing from the top, the ion channel looks like a flower, and after binding of your ligand or of your drug to the receptor to the ion channel, that ion channel opens and leads the transfer of ion from extracellular side to the intracellular or vice versa. And when the ion gate is closed, there is no flow of ion which takes place across this ion channel. So let's see its subtypes. So the first subtypes of the ion channel is ligand gated ion channel. So we classify the ion channel on the basis of the stimulus to which they get response. Means what? Ligand gated ion channels are also controlling the flow of ion across the cell membrane, but they are controlling this ionic balance with the presence or absence of the ligands, or with the presence or absence of drug in their besides. So when there is presence of any drug at their side, that drug, if it is agonist, it will get binds to your binding site, that is to the receptor site, which is indicated by the red colored petal in the diagram. Look at the second diagram. So that drug get binds to the receptor. After drug to the receptor, ion channel get opens and it allows the flow of ion from extracellular side to the intracellular side, and that entered ion are mainly responsible to produce this particular type of cellular responses. After completion of
Madam,
cellular
slightly voice is
responses,
breaking.
ion go to
Asha madam,
sir.
slightly voice is breaking. Please go slow, slightly.
Okay.
Okay, now
So
it's
when
clear.
okay, can I continue?
Yes, continue.
Okay. So when drug get binds to our receptor, ions get flow inside the cell, and based upon the influx of the ion, which ions get influxed inside the receptor, that type of response is produced. For example, if sodium ions get influxed inside your cell, it mostly leads the depolarization of your neurons, which is mostly involved in the transmission of nerve impulse from one nerve to the second nerve. And again, when the nerve impulse transmit from one neuron to the second neuron, the prior neuron is get to the resting state, that is the closing of gate and removing or dissociation of the drug molecule from your receptor. So this is the first type of ion channels, that is the ligand gated ion channel. Means the opening and closing of the ion channel gate is totally depends, or it is response to the presence and absence of the ligand, or presence or absence of the drug. Second types of ion channels are called as voltage gated ion channel. Means their name is indicating that they are responding towards the change in the potential across the cell membrane. Means when the potential across the cell membrane get changed, that ion channel get opens and influx the required ion, and once the ionic balance is maintained, again the gate will be closed. Means their activity is not depends upon presence or absence of the ligand. It is totally depends upon the voltage which is detected by that ion channel receptor. So voltage gated ion channel are mostly highly selective for different type of ions like sodium ion, potassium ion, calcium ion, and chloride ion. On the basis of this, The ion channel is further classified as sodium ion channels, potassium ion channel, chloride ion channel, and calcium ion channel. So based upon the conditions, we are prescribing the drugs. For example, in case of heart diseases, calcium influx or calcium concentration is increased inside the heart cell membrane. So we want to reduce the calcium concentration, and that purpose we are prescribing the calcium channel blockers. So this is about the first type of receptor, that is the ion channel receptor. Ion channels are the transporter which are present within or present across the cell membrane, and they are regulating the ionic balance of our cell. Based upon their stimulus, they are of two types. First one is the ligand gated ion channel, and second one is the voltage gated ion channel. Ligand gated ion channel are activate only when there is presence of particular ligand or particular drug, means they are respond to binding of specific ligand at their site. And voltage gated ion channels are respond to change in the cell membrane potential. So this is about the first type of receptor. Second receptor type is the G protein coupled receptor. So these G protein coupled receptor are also called as 7 transmembrane receptor. Means your receptor is passing 7 times through your cell membrane. The diagram is showing you that receptor is need to cross the cell membrane 7 times. So it is called as 7 transmembrane receptor. And at the intracellular site, this receptor is connected with a protein complex which is called as G protein. This G protein complex again consists of 3 subunits, that is alpha, beta and gamma. In the alpha side, there is presence of various types of G proteins, that is GI, GS, GQ, G12, G13. So on the basis of activation of this selective G protein, the particular cellular response will be produced. And the remaining complex, that is the gamma and beta, it is in the stable form, or it is not directly involved in the not directly involved in the induction of a particular response. So the diagram is showing you the structure of the G protein coupled receptor. 7 transmembrane receptor means it is having a 7 chambers. At the extracellular site, it is presence of N terminal, that is NH3, and at the intracellular domain, there is presence of the C terminal, that is COOH, and at that 7 channel, your G protein is present at its beside. So the which type of G protein get activated, on that basis the receptor will produces the action with the help of secondary transducer mechanism. Secondary transducer mechanism means what? There is presence of 2 important pathways inside this G protein coupled receptor. First one is the cyclic AMP pathway, and second one is the IP3 pathway. Before that, we will just look the brief mechanism of the G protein coupled receptor. So G protein coupled receptor, when get binds to the when your drug get binds to the receptor, so the first block is showing you the resting state of your receptor, means there is no binding of any ligand, so your receptor is totally stable. And during this stable state, the G protein complex, that is the alpha beta complex, the alpha subunit is attached to the GDP, that is guanosine diphosphate protein. Next one is the activation of the receptor. So when your drug molecule or when your ligand get binds to the receptor, activation of your receptor is take place, and because of activation of your receptor, the GDP is replaced by the GTP, that is by the guanosine triphosphate molecule. After transmission or replacement of this GDP by the GTP, the dissociation of that complex is take place, G protein complex is take place, that is activated alpha unit get dissociated from the beta gamma complex. So that beta gamma complex get fused to the inactive target of your cell, and the activated G protein activated G protein, that is your alpha unit with the GTP, get binds to the active target of our cell. And further, this active target G protein is responsible to produce a physiological actions through the cyclic AMP pathway or through the IP3 pathway. Means this mechanism is depends upon the replacement of the GDP by the GTP. When your G protein complex is connected with the GDP, it is in inactivation form, that is, it is off. And when it is connected to the GTP molecule, it will get on to produce physiological action. So this is overall about the G protein coupled mechanism, G protein coupled receptor mechanism. So let's see about the secondary mechanism or secondary messenger system, which is present at the intracellular site of this G protein coupled receptor. So at the extracellular site, your ligand get binds to the receptor. So that ligand and receptor complex transfer through the 7 domain, and when it get enters at the intracellular site, so it will let activate your G protein. So with G protein get activate, it produces stimulatory or inhibitory actions. For example, if the GS activation is take place, it produces stimulatory type of activation. If activation of GI protein is take place, it produces inhibitory type of action. So on the basis of activation of G protein, response is produced. So in case of GS type of G proteins, that is in the case of stimulatory actions, mostly this secondary messenger system is involved, called as cyclic AMP pathway, or it is also called as adenylate cyclase signaling pathway. So once your drug or ligand get binds to your receptor, it leads the replacement of GDP by the GTP, and then the activated G protein get dissociates from its beta gamma site or beta gamma form, and that activated G protein further lead the activation of the protein kinase. That is, it will that activated G protein first couple with the cyclic AMP, which is present, cyclic AMP protein which is present across the cell membrane, and that cyclic AMP is further lead the activation of the protein kinase, and that activated protein kinase is mostly responsible to produces the cellular responses or to produces particular type of actions in the cell. Means here in the cyclic AMP, first activated G protein connect to your cyclic AMP. Cyclic AMP leads the activation of protein kinase, and that protein kinase produces the particular response or particular biological actions on the cell. So this is the first secondary messenger system present in the G protein coupled receptor. And second secondary messenger system present in the G protein coupled receptor is the IP3 pathway, IP3 DAG pathway, that is inositol triphosphate pathway, which is also similar to like cyclic AMP. Means what? When ligand binds to your receptor, it leads the dissociation of active G protein. That in the IP3 pathway, that activated G protein first connect to the phospholipase C. Means in case of cyclic AMP, active G protein binds to the cyclic AMP, and here in IP3, that active G protein binds to the phospholipase C. After its binding to the phospholipase C, it converts phosphatidyl inositol diphosphate into phosphatidyl inositol triphosphate and diacyl glycerol, that is DAG. And this DAG leads activation of protein kinase C. This protein kinase leads the phosphorylation of protein to produces particular response. Means in both secondary messenger system, the important point is activation of protein kinase. That protein kinase produces particular response of your drug. So this is about the G protein coupled receptor. So I had tell you in at the intracellular side there is presence of a G protein complex which consists of 3 subunit alpha, beta and gamma. And to the alpha unit, different type of G proteins are connected or G proteins are attached. So that types are I mentioned here, that is major classes of G proteins. So the various types are GS, GI and GQ. So first location of the G means in the case of cardiac muscle, the G protein receptors are action is increase the cardiac output. Likewise, in case of our bronchi in the respiratory system, that respiratory system consists of the G protein coupled receptor, which consists of the GS type of proteins, which are also active at the adenylyl cyclase pathway, that is cyclic AMP pathway, produces stimulatory type of action. And after stimulation of this GS in the respiratory system, its pharmacological action is relaxation and the bronchodilation. Likewise, I here mention the I, which is produces the inhibitory type of actions in the heart, inhibitory type of actions in the uterus. In the uterus, its action is the inhibitory, but pharmacological actions is the contraction of the uterus is take place. Likewise, in case of glands, GQ type of G proteins are present, which are active through the IP3 pathway, that is through the phosphorylation mechanism. They are stimulating the glands and increasing the secretion. So these are the major classes of the G proteins which are seen in the GPCR receptors. Next, third receptor type is the enzyme linked receptor. Enzyme linked receptor are also same like other receptors, that is it is present across the cell membrane. But at the extracellular site, when your ligand get binds to the enzyme linked receptor, that binding of ligand to your receptor activate the release of enzyme at the intracellular site. And once the enzyme is released at the intracellular site, that enzyme is produces important or required pharmacological action. Means here, when the drug receptor complex is take place, that complex leads the release of enzyme at the intracellular site, and that released enzyme is producing the biological actions of your drug. And because of that, these receptors are called as enzyme linked receptor. So mostly the important types or important example of this type of receptor is tyrosine kinase receptor. And the last type of receptor is called as intracellular receptor, which are also called as nuclear receptor. Their name is indicating that these receptors are mainly present at the intracellular domain, means they are present inside the cell. But here is need of presence of ligand, which is lipophilic in nature. Mostly the ligands for these receptors are all types of hormones which are released in our body. So when these hormones, which is lipophilic in nature, get binds first to the receptor present at the extracellular domain, it forms drug receptor complex. Then it enters in the cell, in the cytoplasm by crossing the cell membrane. When it reach in the cytoplasm, it will further cross the nuclear membrane and enters into the nucleus. In case of nucleus, it mostly trigger the gene transcription, and because of triggering of gene transcription, mRNA is get formed, and that transcript mRNA get converts into new proteins, and that produced protein is responsible for your cellular activity. So these intracellular receptors in short are also called as hormonal receptor. Various types of hormone, that is parathyroid hormone, calcitonin hormone, etc. They are producing their actions through these intracellular types of receptor. Means they are entering into the cell, then they are entering into the nucleus. At the nucleus, they are trigger the gene transcription and they are producing the new proteins, and that newly produced protein is responsible for your cellular activity or response of your drug. So here I had completed all the types of receptor. This slide is showing you the just short overview on the all types of receptor. First type of receptor we had seen is the ligand-gated ion channel receptor. Examples are the ligand-gated channels present in our body are nicotinic receptor, acetylcholinergic receptor, GABA receptor, NMDA receptor. Then GPCR receptor, example are muscarinic receptor, adrenoreceptor, opioid receptor. Kinase linked receptor are receptors of growth factor, receptors of cytokine, and all the receptors of hormone like insulin, leptin, calcitonin, parathormone, etc. And nuclear receptor are examples are steroidal receptor and aldosterone receptor. So here I had completed all the types of receptor. which we have to know before studying the actions of the xenobiotics. And the conclusion of this webinar is extensive research is completed or done on the receptor pharmacology, and because of that investigation, discovery of new drug targets is mostly take place for the treatment of various types of receptor for the various types of diseases. Still require the discovery of new receptor types and their mechanism of many orphan receptors that can result in effective treatment of many diseases. And the in last conclusion, it requires development of receptor crystallization, etc. So we with the help of this conclusion, we are also going to find out the most important receptor for our the COVID-19 disease also. Means it is a virus, and for inhibiting that viral cycle, we also have to know about all these description of the receptor, and that's why I select this topic. So here I had concluded my topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, madam.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, very nicely presented that whatever receptor tool for xenobiotics regarding and whatever you had completed the lecture in very stipulated period of time. We had started at just 12 and we had finished 1 p.m. Okay, thank you for such a wonderful webinar on the topic. Our students are really helpful this webinar in their future also. Okay, I'd like to request all the participants, you have any question, please type in the chat box, or you could raise the hand. The host will unmute your voice, then you should be asked. First of all, I'd like to request Professor Sheetal Jadhav madam to conclude this session, or to ask some queries regarding with receptor tool for xenobiotic. Please, madam.
Yeah, ma'am, I have one question regarding receptors.
Yes, please.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
madam.
madam.
Yes.
So, as far as our research, Asha Jadhav ma'am, question is been there.
Yes, I'm listening.
Yeah. So my question is, as far as our research is been concerned, is there any technique or a tool so that we can study the ex vivo receptor and agonist study? Is there anything in your pharmacology?
Basically, by the in vitro study, we cannot find the actual structure of the receptor. We have to study the in vivo models, and after performing in vivo models, by using the different types of techniques, that is, which are basically used in the what I want to say. In case of microbiology, we are using the different types of microscopes. Such microscopes we are also using to find out the structure of receptor, or by using the computer aided drug designing system, we are also finding the amino acid sequence which are present in our receptor. So based upon that sequence, we can targeting our drug molecule.
Anuja Sogule,
Thank you, ma'am.
ask your question.
She raised the hand by mistake. Okay, next. So, madam, is there any recently xenobiotics that are used in the pharmaceutical industry? What are the applications related with?
Xenobiotics means what? It is a foreign material or foreign chemical which enters in our body. So every drug or every medication which we are ingest, it is act as the xenobiotic. For example, for this coronavirus treatment or for COVID-19, we are using the hydroxychloroquine as a xenobiotic.
Yeah.
Is
Students,
there any question from participants more?
apart from your webinar, you can ask question also the background of pharmacology, because our resource person is from pharmacology, is masters in pharmacology. So you can ask anyone questions. You are free to fill the question. Yes. Jyoti Taute, Vaishnavi Sagre, anyone from second year also?
Swajal, if you have any question, you can ask. Swajal Todkar.
Sir, can I stop sharing of screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
ma'am.
I think there is no any query from the audience or from the participants.
Gajanan
Dole madam,
Patil sir is there with us from pharmacology. Gajanan Patil sir, if you have any question, you can ask.
Hello.
ha sir, continue.
Madam, good afternoon, madam.
Good afternoon, sir.
There is no any question because the session is very nicely you have taken. That's why there is no any at all question regarding general pharmacology.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
Dole madam,
Yes.
please share the screen of appreciation certificate, and lastly we are getting photo session of all the participants, those who are participated in this webinar.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Vote of thanks is demand, sir.
Yeah.
So now I'd like to request Professor Sheetal Jadhav madam to give vote of thanks of the day for webinar series.
Yeah,
Please,
thank
madam.
you. This is it. So it's been my great privilege to propose a vote of thanks. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, continue.
Yes, madam.
This is sir. Am I audible?
Yes, madam, continue. Please continue.
Yeah, it's been my great privilege to propose vote of thanks. I would like to thank our founder, Honorable Annasaheb Dange, the founder of Sant Jnaneshwar Shikshan Samstha, Advocate R.R. Dange sir, Secretary of SDSS Islampur, our inspiration Professor R.A. Kanai sir, Executive Director. I would like to also thank to our speaker, Professor A.S. Jadhav ma'am, for highlighting such a beautiful session on receptor as far as our pandemic disease is been concerned. I would also like to thank to our path guider, Dr. R.B. Jadhav sir, Principal, Annasaheb Dange College of B Pharmacy, Ashta, Professor S.J. Sajni sir, Vice Principal, Professor R.S. Jagtap sir, Vice Principal Academics, Professor S.A. Desai sir, In charge Principal, Annasaheb Dange College of B Pharmacy, Ashta. I would also like to thank Professor R.S. Tole ma'am for providing such a beautiful and wonderful technical support all the way from her. I would also like to thank all teaching staff for providing a helping hand for this webinar session. And at the last but not the least, I would like to thank all participants for listening this session patiently. Thank you.
Thank you very much, madam. Dole madam, please share the screen.
Yeah. Is it visible, sir?
Okay, we had given the letter of certificate of appreciation by digitally. We are sending through also by email
Okay,
to
sir.
Professor
Thank you
A.S.
very
Jadhav,
much.
madam. Okay, thank you.
Thank you
Now
very
I'd
much,
like
sir.
to request. Now I'd like to request all the participants please on their video mode for the photo session. Dole madam, please stop the screen sharing.
Yeah.
Okay. It is over. Dole madam.
Sir, my mobile is not working. You can take a snip.
ते
Okay,
स्लाइड वरती नको बघू ते काय शिकवतात ते बघ
फोटो सेशन चालू आहे.
Dole madam, I'll not